saves the taxpayers quite a bit of money because the cost of a child coming through our program versus going through the juvenile justice system.
A program in Manatee County gives juvenile offenders a second chance, but a judge isn't handing down sentences. Their fates are being determined by other teenagers. The county's teen court program is a real courtroom experience for first-time offenders to nip delinquent behavior in the bud. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Conan. Welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on teen court in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. We've been asking the same questions for almost 3 months now. Where is Jabaz Spann? What happened to him and why? Tonight, Sarasota police say they are not ruling out his disappearance may be related to the murder he possibly witnessed. The 14-year-old has been missing since Labor Day weekend, and according to documents just made public, Spann may have witnessed a homicide a week before his disappearance. Sarasota police say although the homicide and Spann's disappearance may be related, they are 2 separate cases. According to a police affidavit, Spann may have witnessed the murder of 33-year-old Travis Combs, who was shot and killed late last August.
I believe he saw he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
A reward of $25,000 is still being offered for information on Jabaz Spann's whereabouts. The possible cancer cluster at Bayshore High School in Bradenton is back in the news today. A study is now being done. Former students are being asked to fill out a form with health-related questions. Some believe around 150 students could be part of a cancer cluster.
It's critical. We're obviously deeply concerned about what's going on with the health of all of our community, and especially when there's a concern like this that comes to our attention. So what we're trying to do is trying to see if there is a correlation. So we want to make sure we have a good data set.
This health study will be going on for the next several months. The findings are expected to be released by next fall. Sarasota is looking for feedback from the public on whether the city is vulnerable to storm surge, flooding, and sea level changes. The city is putting together what's being called the Climate Adaptation Plan. The city's infrastructure and its vulnerabilities are being analyzed.
So all of these things have to be looked at and strategies identified and implemented to be upgraded over time to make us, more resilient to these changes we're seeing.
Plans will be submitted to commissioners next Monday, and the city will adopt a final draft in January. Also in the city, you could expect to find a detour near the intersection of Orange Avenue and Ringling Boulevard. Construction is beginning to turn the intersection into a single-lane roundabout. Detours are available throughout State Street, Lemons Avenue, and Pineapple Avenue. The city believes the roundabout will improve traffic flow along with driver and pedestrian safety. The city has constructed multiple one-lane roundabouts downtown since 2010, including intersections near 5 Points Park, along Ringling Boulevard and Orange Avenue and Main Street. Good news for Manatee County. Overall crime is down for the first half of the year. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is semi-annual crime report shows it dropped nearly 14% in the first 6 months of 2017. About 4,200 crimes like murders, robberies, aggravated assault, and burglaries were reported. There were about 4,900 crimes reported in Manatee County at the same time last year. The report also shows there was a decrease in murders for the first 6 months of 2017, but they have been on the rise since. Sarasota County also saw almost 5% crime decrease.
Walk on Main Street, walk down by the bayfront at night, going to restaurants and going out and just enjoying the beautiful weather, and yeah, I feel safe.
According to the numbers, Sarasota saw decreases in all crimes with the exception of rape and robbery. We are just a week away from Venice's holiday boat parade, and organizers are worried not enough boats are going to participate. The numbers have been dwindling from nearly 50 a few years ago to just 30 last year.
The holiday season just seems to be getting more and more complicated and hectic for a lot of people, and it takes probably a good effort to outfit your boat for the parade.
And the sign up is on Wednesday. Amazon is expected to be the big winner in the $6.6 billion in sales for Cyber Monday today. Online shopping has been growing for years. Cyber Monday is one of Amazon's busiest days of the year. The company is working hard to fulfill orders placed today, since shoppers are expected to spend 70% more compared to last year.
We have a lot of great products that customers are going to love, and we're really excited to get their packages to their front door in time for the holidays.
Analysts say Cyber Monday orders tend to peak around 8 to 11 p.m. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan to see what he is getting me for the holiday. Bob.
Yeah, I just thinking about it. I missed Black Friday, I missed Cyber Monday, although I still have a few hours left. We'll see what you see what we can get you, Alan. Okay, we'll check that in tonight between the shows. 68 degrees right now, and we have clear skies. I know you wanted some water for your lawn, didn't you? Is that what you wanted? I can work on that. Dew point is at 59 and the humidity at 73%. This dew point temperature is what we watch to see what the lows are going to be. The temperature can never go below the dew point, so right now it's at 59. Yesterday, it was at this hour, was into the 40s. So we did get a little cooler this morning. Lows were into the mid-40s, or mid-50s, I should say. We'll be into the upper 50s to low 60s tonight. Well, the Gulf water temperature now is 71. You can see the temperatures near the coast, upper 60s in Bradenton, Cortez, and Sarasota. Venice now 72 out in the water there, 72 in Inglewood, and 69 now into Northport. Well, there are some clouds around and some showers, too, down to our south in South Florida, near the Keys and the Florida Straits, all the way down into Cuba. All this, though, heading off to the east as high pressure will continue to build in from the north. And that high pressure is bringing in a lot of dry air, too. So in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we expect no chance for rain at all throughout this week. 11 o'clock, we have 63 degrees right now, and that's what we're expecting, I should say, at 11 o'clock. And we'll look for temperatures to stay pretty much seasonal right through the rest of the work week, and it looks like even beyond that, things are looking pretty good. We'll get to the extended forecast in a little bit, but some lightning strikes occasionally down south near the Keys, and that's for them, though, not for us. And we need some rain for your lawn. I know that.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Right.
And still to come, attempts to keep juvenile offenders out of the court system while holding them accountable, how the program needs our help in a moment. Stay with us.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Diverting kids from going down the wrong path while saving taxpayers' money. Wow. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo tonight on how Manatee County's teen court is helping to revolutionize juvenile justice while providing incredible life lessons. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, this is a program that's been around since 1991. And many of these high school kids who are part of the program not only service the community, but end up doing this for a living.
For a Lakewood Ranch High School student, Emma Bitar, she thrives on extracurricular activities, but it's a program called Teen Court where she says she makes the most difference.
I'm interested in possibly being an attorney when I grow up, and it's just an opportunity to understand what's going on in my community more so than normally just going to school.
Waynisha Powell of Southeast High feels the same way. For the nearly 2 years she's been affiliated with the program, Powell looks at building relationships and getting a head start in the profession as key.
I felt like this was practice for before that step on going to college and before going to law school, and just getting a feel of what it's like to go through courtroom protocols.
Teen Court is a program in many of Florida's counties where peers sentence peers for minor infractions instead of going in front of a judge, a program that Manatee Teen Court Supervisor Susan Locklear says is beneficial to the community.
Number one, it saves the taxpayers quite a bit of money because the cost of a child coming through our program versus going through the juvenile justice system.
Proceedings consist of teens acting as attorneys, hearing actual cases of juveniles charged with violating state laws. According to Locklear, not only does it prepare them in a courtroom setting, but increases confidence.
Just having to get up and prepare a case and think on their feet and, question a child and, in a courtroom in front of people that they don't know. It's helped tremendously.
The program offering hope that the infractions teens going down the wrong path have with court staff and their peers will encourage a change in perspective.
It's amazing to me how often children can tell whether other children are being truthful. When a child's up on the stand and they're testifying about what happened, in their case, whatever their offense was, if they're being less than truthful, the jury will know it.
I think children have a unique ability to pick out in each other and appreciate. And that's what I enjoy presiding over and getting to have that come out.
Manatee County Attorney Dino Parakis guides these teen volunteers in the courtroom, making sure they make the right decisions in the judicial system.
It's always fascinating to see how quickly these kids pick up on evidentiary issues that you have second-year law students learning.
For the teen volunteers, it's about helping the community and learning long-lasting life lessons in the process.
Hopefully one day after practicing law for so many years as a state attorney, I want to open up my own law firm.
It makes me feel really good to be able to help my peers hopefully improve their path in life and get on that right path if they've fallen off of it. But then for me and the other attorneys, it gives us a good chance to prepare for a future career that we see ourselves in.
In total, there are 55 counties in the state that have this program, including Sarasota, DeSoto, Pinellas, and Hillsborough.
Dwayne, thank you. All rise. Up next, the trapezoid is in session.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
America, drug addiction is plaguing our great country. Every minute of every day, one of our citizens is rushed to the emergency room with a drug overdose. Many will never leave, never see the dawn of a new tomorrow in our great nation. Call Make America Sober Again now, before this disease destroys your family, your friends, your country. If you or someone you know is struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, make the next minute in your life count. Make America Sober Again is committed to connecting you with someone compassionate and caring to help you right now. Call now and be connected to a treatment center in our network. Call Make America Sober Again now.
Call 800-793-6592. That's 800-793-6592.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Welcome back. As you're watching this, be asking, what can you do to help? Manatee's Teen Court diverts juvenile delinquents from criminal convictions that can dog their future, and it saves taxpayers from the costs involved in prosecuting and defending petty crimes. But volunteers are needed in the program. When kids are sentenced to community service, there needs to be community service to actually go to. And joining us for more is Susan Locklear, Teen Court Supervisor, Dino Parakis, an attorney in Manatee County, and Emma Batar, a Teen Court volunteer. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And Susan, let me start with you, because people are first and foremost are going to want to know, is there evidence that Teen Court actually is able to dissuade kids who may be getting into some juvenile trouble from actually going further and having real charges in the future?
Yes, there is. We haven't done our recidivism rate for a couple years, but the last time we did, the recidivism, basically we followed juveniles that complete our program successfully. We follow them for 2 years to see if they get into trouble again. And less than 7% actually do get into trouble again. So that's 93% of the children don't get into trouble within that 2-year period of time.
Sometimes kids just need that wake-up call.
Exactly.
Dino, how did you get involved in it?
I got initially involved as a prosecutor on the East Coast, and immediately when I came to Sarasota, I was involved. Once going to the felony division in Bradenton, immediately contacted Sue asking how to get involved in this teen court.
As somebody who was a prosecutor, you know, how valuable do you think that this is in terms of these, you know, instead of going through the legal system and prosecuting these petty crimes, doing it in a way that does not affect these young people's records in years to come?
So I think there's two parts. There's the short-term and the long-term part to that question. The short-term, absolutely, it relieves the burden of having to do that. But I think the long-term value is preventing these kids from showing up in felony court, showing up in misdemeanor court as adults by addressing the problem in teen court. And so they are able to go be judged, held accountable, and at the same time able to give back sometime in the future to where we're not seeing them, and then it's not the burden on the taxpayers as adults as well.
So Emma, what do you do? Prosecution, defense, or are you one of the judges? And how did you hear about this?
I do prosecution and defense for the people who come in under that they committed a crime, and I either try to make their sentence higher or lower based off of what kind of crime they committed.
How did you first hear about this program?
I had a friend that was also an attorney, and she knew that I was interested in having that be a future career, so she told me about it, and then I went and checked it out, and I did the training, and now I show up as much as I can.
You know, they didn't have anything like this when I was a kid. How did this first get started, not only in Bradenton, but where did this come from nationally or statewide?
Well, I know the program in Manatee and Sarasota counties was initially brought forth from Texas. Judge Paul Logan, who's a retired circuit court judge, was very involved in bringing the teen court program here, and he went and visited, along with some other officials, went and visited Texas and found the program and decided that it would benefit our community.
Do you know, we have less than a minute left, but I would imagine, what's the line where it may be a case that it's suitable for teen court or above that, where it really does have to go to the felony courts?
It's an interesting question because each case is so different. I mean, you can have a crime and a sentence that goes along, but it really takes looking at the person. You take the crimes, I think the best example would be a theft, a petty theft. It could be the result of addiction. It could be the result of just stealing food, needing food. So I think it's important, especially with teens, to be able to looking at the situation that they're in so you can address the actual issue rather than putting through an anti-theft course when in reality maybe theft isn't the issue.
Okay, we are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on Teen Court when we come back.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Our conversation on Teen Court continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Al, I want to show you this gorgeous sunset tonight. KC Key webcam getting this picturesque sunset and a beautiful calm day out there in the waters too. You can see that hardly any sea action at all going on there, and just the right amount of clouds. And look at that. Is that picture perfect or what right there? We are looking at some clouds down to our south and some rain falling too, associated with a little swirl off the coast of the Keys. And on top of that, a line of low pressure, if you will. This is going to stay here. It's going to shift to the east eventually later Tuesday and then move further away from Florida, I think, on Wednesday. All this that you see as far as the returns go in the rain will stay well to our south. So we're looking at fair skies tonight. Low temperatures will be close to seasonal averages in the upper 50s to low 60s. It looks as though we will see some fog forming too, especially inland areas. The fog will be around. It'll burn off rather quickly though tomorrow on Tuesday morning. Lakewood Rancho should be right around 60 to start the day off on Tuesday. Sarasota right around 61 degrees and temperatures a little bit warmer out at Lombo Key, 65 there. Anna Maria right around 61 degrees. And it looks as though fair skies for most people to start the day off. As I mentioned though, there will be a little bit of fog forming in some areas. 68 right now. The dew point has come up. This number has been coming up throughout the last 2 hours. Now, what that means for us is that our low temperatures won't be as cool as they were this morning. So look for low temperatures to be right around 60 degrees. This morning's lows were pretty chilly in places into the low to mid 50s. 54 at the Sarasota Brady Airport. The average low at 57. Not close to the record though. 36 that was set, or 38 that was set back in 1962. Today's high was 1 degree above average at 78. Well, we're below average for the month of rainfall for November, and looks like we'll stay there. We're not going to get any rain to wrap things up. 1.45 inches below average, but for the year, we're nearly 14 inches above it. And what that means is that we are not going to have a dry year that will end well above average, more than likely 10 inches above average. Hourly forecast, it calls for some fog to be around, temperatures warming up into the low 80s by, say, 1, 2 o'clock, with just a few clouds developing later on in the day. And then the extended forecast does call for a slight chance for an inland shower on Wednesday, but you'll notice nothing depicted here on Tuesday at all. That rain stays to the south, shifts off to the east, north of the Bahamas. And then again, on Wednesday, maybe a little bit more moisture coming into our inland counties, bringing a sprinkle or two, but we're not anticipating anything too rough. As far as the satellite and radar picture goes, well, we told you about the rain down to our south. That's moving off to the east. And then no real big storm systems right now over the northern plain states. There's a weak frontal system moving in, and all the cold air really is going to stay to the north. And you'll see that in the forecast here in a bit. Very warm day all the way up to Kansas City, 62, 70 in Dallas, 45 in Cleveland now, a bit colder over the northeast. And the deep purples and actually blues are staying well to the north over the next several days, and that means the colder air will stay there. We'll stay warm here into the low 80s to mid 80s tomorrow for highs. Here's the extended forecast as it shapes up for the next 7 days. 20% chance for an inland shower on Wednesday. Upper 70s after that, and looks to be really nice. Low temperatures in the low 60s. No threat of any rain all the way through the weekend and beyond. Al will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on MySuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at MySuncoast.com/dining.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork for free, and best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Don't let chronic lower back pain slow you down. Get moving and stay active with a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost. We also accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and other insurance. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare? Find out for free.
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-715-0835. That's 1-800-715-0835, 1-800-715-0835.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back. We're talking about teen court in Manatee County, and joining us for more is Susan Locklear, the teen court supervisor, Dino Parakis, an attorney in Manatee County, and Emma Batar, a teen court volunteer. Susan, just so people know, in terms of what happens to these kids if they are sentenced to community service and they reoffend?
Well, if they reoffend or if they don't complete their sanctions that the teen court jury has sentenced them to, then we have no other option but to close their case unsuccessfully and send them to juvenile court.
And how are the rules for this made? Is this by state statute?
No, it's not by state statute. We follow the teen court programs over the entire state follow a certain guidelines of how the teen court programs are supposed to run.
Okay, and at the outset we talked about the need for volunteers, what the public can do to help, and I would imagine this comes down to a number of different categories, including the fact that when teenagers are sentenced to community service, there has to be enough community service to handle it. Is there enough organizations and places for kids to go?
No, there's not. We're always looking for new outlets, new agencies or organizations that need help with our, with their, whatever it is that they're doing in their organization. The kids that are sentenced to their community service hours, these are basically good kids. They're going to come in and they're going to do their hours. They're going to help that agency or that organization do whatever work it is that they need done. And so we're always looking for new outlets.
And what kinds of community service are we talking about?
It varies. I mean, they'll go to Salvation Army, they'll go to Meals on Wheels, they'll they'll help out local churches. They will help at a food bank. There's lots of different areas.
And do you know there's also a need for attorneys like yourself? And how many attorneys in Manatee are involved with this? And do you have enough? Are there enough people out there helping out?
Well, I think, so you can agree, you can never have enough help when it comes to getting the judges to come to court. But certainly, it's inspiring to see how many attorneys there are to come help out first. And there always could be more. I know in Fowler Law Group, I know Hagen Brody was one that he plays a big role in that as well. And so, there are plenty of attorneys in both places, but we always need more. Absolutely.
And Emma, what do you see in the courtroom in terms of the young people who, not only yourself, who you aspire to be a prosecutor or a defense attorney or a judge, but also the young people who are getting into trouble? What have you learned from watching them?
I mean, it's really a mix of different kinds of people. Some people, teen court is really a true wake-up call for them, and they're serious about it, and they completely turn their lives around down a better path. And then others, yes, you'll have your repeat offenders in the future, and they don't take it as seriously, but it's still a learning experience for them.
Have you ever seen somebody go through teen court and then you see them at school the next day?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What, without using names, what is that like?
It's definitely weird. I usually try to stay away from prosecuting or defending the people that I might see around school, just because I don't want to put myself in that kind of situation, and just for them to get a fair trial, I guess. I don't want to like impose on that.
But that situation is not unlike what you would see in real life, because as a prosecutor or a defense attorney, you may go to the supermarket and see somebody that you sent to jail for a couple of days.
It happens.
So, I mean, how useful is this for young people like Emma to see how both sides of the street work here?
I think it's very useful. I think it's a very good practice on what actually happens when they get older.
Right. And Susan, we were talking about from the outset how this saves taxpayers money. If you could explain that a little bit.
Well, it cost, on the low end, about $5,000 to prosecute a child and have them go through regular juvenile justice system, the regular juvenile court. Whereas having them come to teen court, to the diversion program, is about $500 per child. So we're saving, the last fiscal year, 2016-2017, we handled close to 300 cases. You're talking in excess of $1 million that the taxpayers are saved by these children coming to teen court.
And are you just talking about $1 million a year in Manatee County?
In Manatee County, correct.
And this program is also in Sarasota County. We know some great people who are involved with it there. Is it in the majority of counties in Florida?
Yes, there's 55 teen court programs all over the state. There's only 12 very small counties that don't have teen court.
Do you see this expanding in terms of the number of defendants that you could accommodate going through this system, or are you basically, for the lack of a better word, hamstrung by the number of volunteers that you have in terms of attorneys willing to give their time and kids who may be interested in the legal profession to serve as defense and prosecutors?
No, we take any child that meets the criteria for our program. We will take them and we will handle their case regardless of the number of volunteers that we have.
You know, Dino, there may be some people who are watching this from home who would be saying, you know what, you know, this sounds like a nice thing to do, but when kids get into trouble, whether, you know, a petty crime, you know, you really have to throw the book at them because, you know, we could see what happens when kids do not get on the straight and narrow early enough. So just, you know, send them into the criminal courts. What would you say back?
I would say that there's an opinion to that punishment would ultimately lead to a more productive tax-paying citizen at the end. And I don't think that just a one-size-fits-all could apply. The interesting part about teen court is they are held accountable. They do have to do community service. And I think at that age, when you're seeking approval by your peers, to have your peers sentencing you to community service hours, jury duties, and having different types of punishments, I think that is more emotionally effective as far as getting the teens involved. It really addresses this particular age group in a very unique fashion. I don't think they would be able to have that opportunity if, and certainly they have to earn it, but they wouldn't have that there.
Up until now, you have been a career prosecutor.
Yeah.
You are now, later this week, moving into the defense side of the court.
Yes, a Fowler Law Group.
So, Emma, that raises the question, from what you've seen right now, both in terms of being a prosecutor in teen court and defense in teen court, what do you prefer? What do you think the difference is? What is more interesting to you?
Honestly, I like both about the same. It really depends on the case, because we get the cases beforehand and then we get to decide if we want to prosecute or defend. I usually try to prosecute the kids that commit the higher crimes. I think I'm trying to get them to learn as much as I can possibly offer them. And then I defend the kids that I feel like maybe were falsely accused, like shouldn't really be there, but they're choosing not to go through juvenile court because of, you know, expenses or whatnot. So, yeah, I just decide on my own, but I like them both about the same.
What kind of preparation do you have to put into each case?
Well, I get the case file, so I have to read over it, and then after that, I write the opening statements, questions, and then closing statements.
Now, does the defendant have an opportunity to testify in their own defense?
Yes.
And I would imagine there is a learning experience in terms of that, in terms of standing up for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're being charged with something that you don't believe that you are guilty of, or trying to explain in terms of taking responsibility for something that you may have done.
Well, every child that comes in our program has to plead guilty to the charge. Otherwise, they would then be in juvenile court and the state attorney would have to prove their guilt. So the children that are in our program have already pled guilty to the charge, but you know, their testimony is really the only thing that the jury uses to decide what their sentence is going to be. So they do get that opportunity to get up on the stand and explain what happened on, you know, the day that they were, you know, they did whatever it is that they did.
Do you find that the youngsters who are going through this are taking the process seriously, considering the fact that it's a defense attorney or a prosecutor who's the same age that they are?
Well, I think in the onset, a lot of them don't. And I think once they get into court and they realize that you are in a real courtroom and there is a judge up there and you have a jury and this is real court, you know, we explain to them that the only reason that they have another youth that is prosecuting and defending them is because they have pled guilty to the charge. So there's no need for them to have a real attorney. But they, you know, they do, if they don't take it serious on the onset, they certainly do by the time they make it into court.
Okay, we have to take a quick break and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters.
Call the IVC Filter Hotline if your loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Dino, I'm going to start with you because you've been a prosecutor for a number of years now. What impact have you seen in terms of the teen court dissuading kids who may be delinquent or getting into trouble from doing it again and going down the wrong path?
I think the biggest impact is not only that the teens, that they have a better life once they're inspired by it, but also by the person doing it. I think the most rewarding things that have gone in there is offering for kids to come watch a trial, for kids to be able to just be involved and see as sort of a mentor. And I think that getting involved and more people getting involved, the community will be rewarded by each volunteer that shows up as well. And these are, just good kids that really just need some guidance. And I think there's a great opportunity for everybody to get involved into this.
Emma, what have you learned about our legal system?
I've definitely been able to learn about how a real court works, and I've been able to experience it myself, which is important for people who, are interested in possibly working in the legal system.
Susan, how many kids can you accommodate every year in this court?
We've had upwards of 400 to 500 kids a year. Right now we're in the 300 to 400 range, but we take on every child that is referred to us.
And this something that we were talking about during the break, and I would imagine this is the same thing in adult court, is that some people get into trouble because they just make mistakes in their lives, but more and more in our court system, mental health issues are a problem which I would imagine it would be very difficult for the teen court to address.
It is. We do have some great partners that we work with in the mental health capacity that we can make referrals to. And a lot of it, though, is getting the parents to take the child there.
All right. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight, and just an incredibly great program, so we appreciate it. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight: Susan Locklear, Teen Court Supervisor; Dino Paracas, an attorney in Manatee County; and Emma Batar, a Teen Court volunteer. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus a leadership shakeup at the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau. The agency's first and only director is stepping down, and 2 people have now been assigned to follow in his footsteps.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from GQ meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, we showed you Casey Key earlier. Here's the Van Wezel webcam, different perspective of the sun setting tonight with just a few clouds around. Gorgeous, calm conditions out there, beautiful. And it looks as though we'll see similar conditions again tomorrow, although maybe a little bit better chance, a little higher humidity around. Another photo sent in from Susanna sending this one in. Appreciate that photo. Nice one. And as far as rain goes, well, we have some showers down to our south into Cuba and Florida Straits all the way up to the Keys and over the Bahamas right now. This rain associated with a weak system now. There's a little trough of low pressure, if you will, hanging out down here, which will eventually shift off to the east. High pressure will continue to dominate our weather, and we are anticipating another nice day tomorrow, albeit a little higher temperature expected and a little bit maybe more humidity around too. So you get the picture. Not much going on as far as heavy rainfall, but just a few showers here down in South Florida and into the Keys. Temperatures for lows tonight to start things off on Tuesday look to be pretty nice, into the low to mid 60s near the water, low 60s inland as well. Wauchula and Arcadia will also be right around 59, 60 degrees, 60 at Lakewood Ranch. Bradenton will be at 63 to start the morning off at 65 in Longboat Key. And as far as the current conditions go, clear and 68 already. The temperature dropping now that the sun has set and the dew point is coming up. Winds are calm. And with that calm condition and also the clear skies, it looks as though we will see the potential for some fog forming. It's still a long way off. It will be around tomorrow morning, but should burn off pretty quickly. The high today was 1 degree above average at 78. This morning's low was pretty chilly, 54 to start the morning off. Even some upper 40s well inland this morning. Well, the rainfall, it's a deficit for the month, but boy, a surplus for the year. Well above average, and we'll end at least 10 inches above average, and we could even be a little higher than if we get some rainfall in December, but no more rain anticipated for us in the month of November. And the forecast tomorrow looks good for you if you're heading out. It looks to be really quite nice. As I mentioned, a little fog in the morning, not to be too concerned, but it should burn off. You know, the fog has been rather thick in places over the weekend at times, so I don't think it'll be quite as thick, but there'll still be around. And this is typically our foggy times of year in the winter and into early spring. This is fall, obviously, but we still can get it in late fall as well. Well, the futurecast showing us some clouds and showers that are down to our south, kind of heading off and consolidating to the east of the Bahamas. We'll see some higher clouds streaming overhead, but not a lot. And it looks as though we'll see another nice day on Wednesday, although a few showers in the afternoon could make it all the way over into Highlands County and the Hardee and DeSoto counties, with that rain chance only at 20%. That's all we can muster up today, I should say, throughout the rest of this week. Only at 20%, and that's on Wednesday. Temperatures will stay pretty close to seasonal averages. With this system out there, we had a little swirl, if you can believe this. Yesterday, visible satellite imagery was showing a little low pressure area, what appeared to be something developing, but luckily the shear is going around and not allowing that to develop into anything significant. And there's some showers down to the south of us. Not a lot going on over the central U.S. One thing to note, that the cold Arctic air has been really kept at bay across the northern tier of the United States. It hasn't really dropped that far southward, but indications are long range that December 7th or 8th, we could see some very cold air make it all the way down into the deep south. So we'll keep an eye on that for that, but it's a long way off. We've still got many days before that happens. And out west, the rain has come to an end for the most part over California. still going on into Washington. Well, the 7-day forecast shapes up like this. We'll have nice day tomorrow, a little bit of fog, as I mentioned. Temperatures a little bit above average, too. The average high at 78 will be in the low 80s, mid-80s east of I-75. Low temperatures pretty close to where they should be over the upcoming nights. And this great weather continues on through Saturday and Sunday. I mentioned, though, the long-range forecast does suggest some changes coming up in the latter half of the first week of December. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. They send out devastating letters, garnish paychecks, and even put liens on your home or business. You may have heard of it. It's called enforced compliance. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms and can negotiate a tax settlement with the IRS. It's that simple. And if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars, finally ending your financial stress. Now is the time for a fresh start. Now is the time to call Tax 10,000. 800-699-3188. That's 800-699-3188. Call now.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Checking primetime headlines, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was formed as a result of the financial crisis in 2010 to protect consumers from becoming victims of financial institutions. Now, as the agency's first and only director has stepped aside, the question of who is currently in charge is creating legal trouble. ABC's Serena Marshall reports from Washington.
Newly appointed Consumer Financial Protection Bureau Director Mick Mulvaney showing up Monday for the job, donuts in hand. The only problem...
Do you believe you have legitimate authority over this bureau?
Yes, I do. He wasn't the only one. Leandra English also walking in as the top boss and heading to Capitol Hill to meet with congressional leaders. This morning, she sent this email to staff, signing it Acting Director. Talk about an awkward welcome. Mulvaney sent his own email instructing employees to disregard any instructions from English. The dueling directors from 2 dueling appointments. When the last director resigned Friday, he designated his deputy, Miss English, as his temporary replacement, as called for under the bill that created the agency in 2010, the Dodd-Frank Act. A few hours later, the president named the Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney as the director, using the Vacancies Act as his authority.
It's not clear who would have the authority to institute an action, to get some kind of a settlement, to negotiate with a financial institution, to go after someone. So as of now, it's hard to imagine a scenario that's anything other than the fact that the business of this agency is stalled.
Mulvaney has made no secret of his distaste for the agency. In a 2014 interview with the Credit Union Times, he called the agency a sick, sad joke.
It's extraordinarily frightening. Some of us like to get rid of it.
The government's top consumer financial watchdog, a brainchild of Senator Elizabeth Warren, who said on Twitter Trump has put a cloud of uncertainty over the CFPB by attempting to override Dodd-Frank. Mulvaney should take no action until this dispute is decided in the courts.
Already a lawsuit filed by English Overnight asking the courts for a temporary restraining order that would prevent the president from appointing a new acting director. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Senator Al Franken returned to Capitol Hill today for the first time since reports he groped several women. The Minnesota Democrat held a short news conference outside the Senate office. He apologized again, saying he knows he has let down a lot of people.
I know there are no magic words that I can say to regain your trust, and I know that's going to take time. I'm ready to start that process, and it starts with going back to work today.
Franken says the accusations made against him have come as a shock, calling the situation extremely humbling. Franken says he doesn't remember touching women inappropriately, and he says he will cooperate fully with a Senate Ethics Committee investigation. It's the largest chain of massage franchises in the country, and now Massage Envy is facing allegations nearly 200 women were sexually assaulted at its locations. One client, Susan Ingram, is suing the company after she called the salon to report the incident and learned the therapist kept his job. The therapist is now in jail, pleading guilty to assaulting 9 women while working at Massage Envy. Ingram alleges she was put at risk because the allegation is that Massage Envy knew of at least one incident prior to her alleged assault, and she is not the only former client taking legal action.
Looking back, there may have been red flags, but any sexual assault victim thinks of all the red flags that you miss along the way. But I wouldn't say that he was the most professional. He seemed very young, and I even asked him during the massage, how long have you been doing this? And his response is not very long, but I'm a very good therapist. So I felt a little uncomfortable the further we got into the massage, yes.
The company has nearly 1,200 spas, more than 20,000 massage therapists, $1.3 billion in annual sales, and more than 1.6 million members nationwide. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.